So, Buttwife, how are things, man? What's new in the world for you?
Dude, things are good. I started fresh across the board with all my new channels, and it's been an interesting journey to say the least. But it's been an absolute blast, honestly.
So, just from my perspective alone, that sounds like a daunting, like giant task. Like for me, if I were
Yeah.
to just refresh all my socials from scratch, like that's a leap right there, right?
Scary.
Scary, right?
That is absolutely a leap, honestly. And I was freaked out at first, especially. I'm still freaked out, but I was freaked out at first, especially, because you spend 4 or 5 years on one set of channels, and then just to start fully new and fresh across the board is like, is anybody gonna know who I am still? But I don't know if you saw, I posted a like a comeback video on Twitter when I like the week before I went back, or I went live the first time, and it got like 200,000 views on Twitter or something.
That's
like
amazing.
that. So
Oh wow,
just, like,
that's awesome.
It was 500,000 impressions and stuff, and it was just like, holy moly! Like, I did not expect all the support from all the friends and everybody. So it was just like huge. And that first stream was thousands of viewers too, and it was just
That's amazing.
It was incredible. I didn't expect any of that, but that definitely took a lot of the fear away of starting completely fresh, but it's still, it's daily up and at 'em, working hard.
So it's always a grind, right?
Yeah.
Always, yeah. And like, it's a fun grind to be sure, but like it's especially freaky just with everything new across the board,
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is nice though, because I can start off like, for example, I've been playing a lot of other games as well, not just Destiny.
Okay.
And when you start back over from the ground up, you can really like spread your wings, I guess, if that makes any sense. So it seems like a lot of the hardcore people who knew me or whatever are here no matter what.
Yeah, of
so
course.
It's like it makes it so much easier to just play the games I want, do what I want, and just have fun.
Yeah.
It's something I noticed pretty quickly was everyone on Twitter from who knew you from Destiny were all just like sharing everything and like, this is the new Twitter, go check it out, make sure you follow, which is really cool to see. It was really nice to see that everyone was still very much so behind you.
Yeah, and I took a 30-day just off of all social media break.
Nice.
And I just, I went outside, I went camping, I, rode my motorcycle every day, just hit the gym a lot and just really lived life for a month and just totally disconnected.
That's
and
awesome.
When I came back, I noticed that people were like shouting me out, and I didn't even talk to them. They just they just knew, and so it's cool. Like it was good. I saw a lot of my like real friends that I didn't know that it was like how good of friends they were,
Yeah, absolutely. So you went from like basically full-time streaming for 4 years and then took a whole month off, right?
Yes. And that was honestly that's like
another
the
leap,
best.
Right?
That was another leap too. Like, that's scary to begin with, but like that was the best month I've had in a long time. Like you get so involved in like gaming and like just daily Destiny challenges and whatever, and like I didn't even play Destiny, during those 3 days. Like I was fully disconnected, and it was so much fun to just go out and do stuff. But then when I came back, I felt so much, I don't know, I missed it, and so it's like when you do something every day, like stream and stuff, like it can get grindy, but then you take some time off and distance makes the heart grow fond, or whatever you want to say. It was so much easier to just like dive right in. So
I think a lot of people that aren't actually that aren't streamers specifically, who are streaming all the time, they find it hard to believe that burnout is such an easy thing to have happen. But when you're in it, burnout comes very fast, and you have to take care of the things to make sure you don't get burnt out, because it's very hard to pull yourself out of a burnout hole, obviously. Right.
Yeah. And even if you don't fully get burnt out, there's definitely like stages of burnout, so it's like some days it's just hard to click go live because you're like, man, I wish I could just like kind of want to just go outside today, or kind of just want to like, maybe you're stuck in a rut or something. Like there's definitely different steps to it. And that, like, looking back now, like with the experience that I've had, I can tell I'd be able to see it coming a lot earlier than the average person, I guess. And, take steps to avoid it, like play other games, go outside, do whatever. So
yeah, balance your time. I find also, like, I've been streaming mostly full time for about 4 years now, and I find that like those outside times, those breaks, those times where you go and do other things that's not streaming is very important, because you kind of become a one-dimensional person if you're just streaming and that's it. You know what I mean?
Really do.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
That's just your life, and you kind of like run out of life things to talk about if you're not.
Right. Yeah, you run out of like life experience, right?
I stream and play video games. That's my hobby.
That's about
Do
it,
anything else? No.
That's it now.
Yeah, you need those other things to like fill yourself up to then be able to share that as a live streamer, because that's part of the live stream aspect of that. So that's
it is.
That's impressive, man. I mean, if you don't mind sharing, like, can you talk about the reasons why the change was needed for
So for a long time, I streamed with Lucky, and we did a lot of good stuff for a long time. It was pretty successful, and there comes a time where like it's hard enough to do a dual stream, first of all because of technology, and then because of each other. Like it's hard to work one-on-one with somebody for an extended period of time, and because everything has to be aligned across the board, otherwise it just doesn't work.
Yeah, your messaging and all that stuff.
Messaging, just talking to each other. Not only that, but even just getting along, and like you spend 12 hours a day. Like when we were in trials heavy, we were doing 12 14-hour streams every day, and we didn't take a day off for months, right? So like you spend that much time with one person, and if you don't really get along with them, you're gonna have some arguments or some fights or some whatever. And
even if you do get along, right? You still get
exactly. And we did really get along. We were on the same page for a long time, but life happens. He had a kid, he had all sorts of stuff going on. I have my own stuff going on, and so our lives were just in two different directions. And he moved out to wherever, South Dakota or something, to join the team, and then I wasn't down with that. Like I didn't really like the team very much, so it took that as a good sign for.
What do you think about South Dakota?
Time to I mean, there's nothing wrong with South Dakota, but I like Oregon. I like where I'm at.
Hot take on South Dakota.
There's too much ice and snow. No.
I'm with you. Fuck South Dakota.
Yeah. No, but so our lives are going in two different directions, and it just works better. And now is as good a time as any, so just pulled the trigger and went our own separate ways. So,
that's amazing, man.
And I'm super happy. I honestly, starting over across the board is actually really freeing, because I know everybody who's there is there for me and me alone. And that's a good feeling, so.
Yeah. It's also really smart to branch out in those other games as well early on. So you have that like that multicolored aspect of your channel. So it's not always, again, kind of goes back to that one-dimensional type of thing. If you're only doing that one thing all the time, then when that one thing goes away, then it's hard to recover from that stuff, So.
Exactly. And so for example, we always play Destiny, and now I've got Destiny emotes, I've got PUBG emotes, I've got all kinds of stuff, and so just it's awesome. I can play whatever game I want to, whenever I want to. And that's another thing that's nice about solo streaming that people may not think about, is that like I loved PUBG and Lucky hated it. And so we just never really got to play it on stream because he just really didn't like it. And that's like one of my favorite games right now. So it's just like, it's definitely,
that game is super polarizing. Like it is kind of a love it or hate
it.
It
is.
Kind of
you
game.
Either love it or you hate it. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Are you still playing that a lot? Because I've heard it's changed a lot. Like
I am, yeah. It's probably my number 2 game behind Destiny right now. And they added tons of stuff like jumping and mantling on things and exploding gas cans and more guns and yada yada. But
I remember when they added jumping through windows and how it made that like crashing sound.
Yeah,
and that's all me and my team did for like a month.
Yep.
That sounds like
through
a
every window we could find.
Just Jason Bourne everything, dude.
Yeah, super stealth.
Make a montage breaking through windows.
Exactly. Yeah.